What's up, everybody? Welcome back to another episode of Couch Quickies, the show where Nadia and I try to see if we can take a mundane topic and talk about it for 20 minutes. We will figure that out because today we are doing bread.
Yes. And in the wise words of Oprah Winfrey,
I love bread.
Same girl, same. I love bread. What can I say? Wish I didn't. It would make my life a lot easier. But,
my goodness.
I don't say no to the bread basket at the restaurant.
That's right. For you guys that are joining us for the first time, I am your host, Omar, co-host, Nadia Moham.
What's up, guys?
You'll notice we always get the intros wrong, and I thought it was looking good. And we're celebrating 1 year of doing our show, so we just decided to leave those balloons up because they're expensive.
They really weren't. Wow. Make us look poor.
Everybody knows they're solid gold.
Those are the minis. Those are the minis. Now, let me tell you something about these Mylar letters, though.
Uh-huh.
The large ones, those are $10 a balloon. So you better be choosy about what word you want to spell. Okay? It's going to get pricey. Just think about it.
Go with the minis.
Yeah. Don't ever say happy birthday.
Just HBD.
Yeah. Or just put the number. That's always a good one. 2 when you're done. Anyways, shall we put some time on the clock?
Yeah, let's go ahead and set the
the
timer for 20 minutes. Let's try to talk about bread.
Set my alarm for 20 minutes. Oh, she's a little slow. I got my new phone.
Uh-huh.
Oh my God, she told me 1 second. How rude.
So the new Siri is
she's got an attitude.
She's rude.
Yeah.
Did it start?
It did.
All right.
Go. Where would you like to begin on our bread journey? Do you like bread?
I love bread.
Yes.
And it's funny because during the pandemic, right? Well, early pandemic.
During the pandemic we're still in.
Early, everybody started making sourdough at their house, right? It was
I
like
know.
the new thing. It was like, oh. And I didn't want to do that.
Why?
Because I just didn't want to take the time to get like the yeast and activate and create my own starter. And then I was just like, nah.
I wanted to. I searched high and low for that yeast. I couldn't find any yeast.
But it was
the shelves were
I kept
empty
talking
of yeast.
myself out of it because remember my New Year's resolution was to make a pie.
Yeah,
every
how's
month?
that going?
And I was like, you know what? This is not bad. This is not bad. This is not a good for me. It's just I'm not seeing anyone. I can't just be consuming a pie a month just for the hell of it.
Well,
then I felt that way about bread because I love sourdough.
Yeah.
Like
I
sourdough
do
is my jam.
I do too. It's one of
And
my
I was like, if I can just make it whenever I want, I'm going to be making huge loaves. And
it's so different making it versus buying it in the store.
Well, absolutely.
My neighbor, her parents bought a bread maker.
Mm-hmm.
And I went over to their house one day for dinner and they were making pasta or whatever and they made bread. And I was just like, my mind was blown. It was the softest, warmest, spongy, but crusty on the outside. And the butter just dribbled on down those peaks and valleys. It was so good.
Peaks and valleys.
Yeah. You know, the little air pockets. Yeah. It was, wow. Yeah. We might need to get a bread. Well, no, we don't need a bread maker.
Exactly.
You know why we don't need a bread maker? I'm going to shout out Wild Grain right now.
Absolutely. That's a good way.
Because Wild Grain generously sent us a big old box of bread. Mm-hmm. And if you guys don't know about Wild Grain, they're a really cool company that they send you a box. It's like a membership. Send you a box of frozen bread. You get to choose what types of loaves you want. And they have everything from desserts and pastries to what else
they have. They have a lot of sourdough loaves, right? And then you also get some artisanal pastas and some pastries. And it's all...
Yeah, we have some here. We have, this is olive oil, slow fermented ciabatta. And everything is clean ingredients. So if you're gonna do the carbs, you might as well do the clean carbs.
Yeah,
and
absolutely.
You feel better about it, honestly. Like we made the brioche rolls. By the way, they give you free brioche rolls every package. They were so good, and they didn't make me feel like super bloated or heavy. Like I think the clean, high quality ingredients really do make a difference. We have sourdough, rosemary, garlic bread. And what else do we have here? So it's not just your standard run-of-the-mill bread. They got some rosemary in there. And then this is a classic sourdough, loaf of sourdough bread.
Yeah. And all of this stuff is baked from frozen.
Yes.
So you don't have to thaw it or anything like that. You just throw it in the oven for whatever the time on each loaf of bread, we'll say. And so far, so good.
Yeah. Nadia Moham Official is the promo code.
Yes.
So, and honestly, I'm not just plugging this because they gave me a promo code. Like, this shit is really legit good. And if you already know me by now, I don't plug things that I don't like. So I will always vouch and tell you if it's good or not. So we approve.
So there you go.
We have our baby approved.
Yeah, it's really good stuff. But on to some more bread discussions of our own.
Okay.
Do you have a kind of bread that your, parents always had around?
Of course. Lavash and pita bread.
That was just like nonstop, always.
And sourdough. My mom always bought sourdough.
Mm-hmm.
The one that was like the round loaf with the little San Francisco label on it. Remember that? That was like her go-to. We always had that on deck. We're a bread household. I grew up eating all kinds of bread. We always had bread, whether it was for hamburgers and hot dogs. Tortillas are not really bread, but it's basically in that family, it pretends
that was always at my house.
Yeah,
obviously,
always tortillas. Then my dad had pita bread and lavash, which is like a really thin, just a really, really thin. What would you even call it? It's like a wrap. Like when you think of a wrap, it's like that kind of bread. If you go to like certain Middle Eastern restaurants, they usually give it out. It's the really thin. They cut it into squares.
Oh
bread.
yeah, okay, I know exactly what you're talking about. Yeah,
and that.
Oh yeah,
my
I've had
God.
tons of this. This stuff is bomb.
No, you don't even understand. You think that that's good? When we went to Iran, it is a thing that they do that you wake up in the morning and you go get that fresh bread, and they give it to you in a big piece of paper, and it's just hot, and they throw it on the paper, and you walk home with your big old fresh bread. And my dad was getting that. My dad or uncle or grandfather, whoever could grab it when we went to Iran, they would get that every morning. And I gained probably about 10 pounds by the time I got home.
Well, it's funny because like growing up, we always had, tortillas were always there, but we also always had bolillos.
Oh, yeah,
right?
yeah.
And bolillos like really big in Latin America. It's like kind of like a French roll, like a bread, whatever, right? But I remember going to Mexico City with my family and discovering like not only like fresh, like really like fresh bolillos, but also teleras. And teleras is essentially like bolillo, but just a little bit sweeter sometimes.
Ooh.
It's softer too. And it ends up, instead of it being like a kind of French oblong kind of shape, it's more flat, like a sandwich bread, if you will.
Oh, okay.
And that's usually what you'll get in tortas, like really good tortas.
That's what I was thinking.
That'll
I was
be
going to
that
say
bread.
that. It's probably torta bread. Okay. But
But
they fry theirs up. They do something. It's always greasy and good.
Well, yeah, but then we're getting... yeah, you're like...
I love bread, but like, obviously for health reasons, I try not to eat too much of it. And like, for some reason, tortas terrify me. Like, I will eat a big ass burrito and be like, oh, it was thin. But a torta, I'm like, ooh, I'm really indulging.
Do I want to eat that much bread?
Yeah. It's the way our brains work. It's so weird.
Well, it's funny because like, how about like have you ever ordered a giant pretzel?
Like from
know,
Wetzel Pretzel or whatever.
Yeah, but like a big Bavarian pretzel, like from a German restaurant or from like an Oktoberfest. It's like a really
it's
big.
Huge.
It's those are so good.
Those are so good. Well, now you got me thinking about Wetzel Pretzel.
Like soft pretzels, that's bread.
The
That's
little
pretzel
bites,
bread.
and you dip in that nacho cheese. Ooh.
Nah, I don't like to do.
You
nacho
don't?
cheese, nah.
I do.
I do mustard.
Yeah, it's cute.
lightly salted. Like I don't like when they like murder the pretzel
Oversalt
with
it.
salt and you're like shaking it or
Yeah,
scrubbing it
yeah,
off.
yeah.
But like nicely lightly salted with mustard. That's
Do
what.
you prefer that over the cinnamon sugar one?
Yes. Yeah, like cinnamon sugar pretzels are it's cool, but
So good.
I prefer a savory pretzel.
Gotcha.
If you will.
Yeah, yeah.
Okay, what about since we're talking about savory versus like sweet, what about bagels?
I definitely go more towards savory. Yeah, for bagels. Savory, but Omar has this combo that he swears by. And it's an everything bagel with strawberry cream cheese.
Yeah.
And love, and I hated on that combo, you and your stupid, nasty strawberry cream cheese, everything bagel combo. And then you're like, want to try it? And I was like, well, I guess, yeah, I should try this. And I was like, damn it. It's actually good.
Look, everybody, whenever I tell somebody that, they always give me that face like, that sounds gross.
It
But
sounds gross.
if you are a fan of savory and sweet together,
Yeah.
it's perfect. Because
Yeah.
you get, depending on the strawberry cream cheese, it's not usually too sweet.
Right.
I mean, at least
The best ones are the ones that have real chunks of strawberry
Yeah,
in them that you can
like-
get from like the donut shop. I mean, donut shop. What am I talking
donut
about? Wrong couch quickie. The bagel shop.
I'll have an apple fritter and some cream cheese, please.
That's so gutty. Oh my god, it's so gutty.
But yeah, give it a try sometime. Everything bagel toasted with some strawberry cream cheese.
Yeah.
It's so good.
That's your combo.
That's my way to go.
Going back to like our families and how we grew up, like my dad, he did not understand the concept that like bread is carbs and is not really the best for you if you're trying to like lose weight or be fit. Like you
Right.
kind of want to minimize the carbs. And like, so when I lived with him or with my parents, you know, I was like, there was a time in my life when I went to the gym twice a day. I was all my shit. And I was like eating so clean and healthy. And he just would not, he'd be like, where? Oh, I'm not allowed to do this anymore. He'd be like, where's your bread? Damn it. I've been told that I should not tease my father's accent. However, I don't look at it as that. I love my dad. Anyways, he said, he was like, where's your bread? He'd always be like, where's your bread? Where's your bread? Like, why don't you have bread on your plate? Like, it was just ingrained in him that every meal has to have bread. And it's a very Persian way of doing things too. Like, if you look at how they eat, like for dinner or lunch, whatever meal, there's always bread, and they kind of put a little bit of everything in it, and then they eat it, like little bits of it. So it's like they put the sabzi, the rice, the little bit of yogurt or whatever you have, the meat, and then you make these like little sandwiches.
Yeah, it's like tortillas.
Yeah,
it's
and
just
exactly.
you're just eating everything with the
Exactly.
I think it's real funny. Like when, not to go back to the bolillos, but this is a thing that my dad would put a whole one in the toaster oven, right? Or and it would kind of get toasted up. You cut it in half, and then you can scrape all the bread.
Yeah, I don't know
from
why
the
you do
inside
that.
out.
I love the inside bread.
So he scrapes all that out. We call it migajon.
Okay.
And he would like take it all out, and then you just kind of stuff the
sandwich.
the shell.
So there's
you know what
more
I mean?
room.
So there'd be like bread and cheese. I mean, beans and cheese and stuff. And that's how he would like give it to us. That's like, here's your sandwich or whatever.
Yeah.
And it was awesome. But I always wanted that middle bread.
Yeah.
And then sometimes he would like, some people will grab it and like roll it up into like little balls, and then you have like little balls of just bread on the table. Like, yeah, like cousins and
I
stuff.
don't want that. I want bread that's been rolled in your hands at the table.
Well, they're not
Let me
eating it
eat those.
anyway. That's the crazy part. Is like he wouldn't eat it. He's like, you
Well,
don't
that's
need-
healthy.
Yeah, he's like, you don't need that much bread, I guess.
Well, okay, you know what's funny? Because you're talking about the crust of the bread, and I have some random facts here.
Oh, some crusty facts?
I have a random crust fact.
Oh shit!
Crust facts. I just got major deja vu. Don't ask me who I have deja vu about crust facts. Anyways, did you know that there was an old wives' tale that eating the bread crust makes a person's hair curlier?
Really?
Yeah.
Is that? I was looking about to ask some
Is
stupid ass
is that real? Is that true?
Okay, I don't know where I was gonna go with that.
Yeah, you
Never
can't. There's really
mind.
nowhere to go with that. It's just a
Well-
useless fact. There you go.
Well, okay.
Moving on.
Did you ever? Were you ever a take the crust off my sandwich person?
No, I didn't make my mom like do that. I would eat the sandwich, but if I was getting to the end and it was just crust, I would usually leave it unless it was really good.
I get you. Like that. Those last that
The
little
last
corner.
little sliver, you know,
Right.
I wasn't like I would eat most of it until the crust, you know.
Yeah, I was never a cut the crust off my.
Yeah.
Like, just give me the bread.
Yeah, just give it to me.
The whole thing
and
is
my
edible.
mom always told me all the outside of everything, the skin, everything has the most nutrients. Like,
It's like I gotta
Always.
eat the most nutritious part
yeah,
of the bread.
yeah.
Just eat
She'd be like, "Don't waste that part. That's the good part." She's probably right. Well, in the skin of fruits and vegetables, there's a lot
Right.
of fiber in there.
But we're talking about bread.
I know.
And I'll eat like every slice of pizza I'll definitely eat the crust.
Yeah,
Like,
same.
I never leave the
Pizza's the exception. I'll eat your crust too. You gonna eat your crust? Perfect. I'm gonna dip it in ranch.
I know.
So
Uh-huh.
good.
All right, you got some more crust facts?
I do.
Okay.
Each American consumes, on average, 53 pounds of bread per year per person.
Damn.
That's a lot of bread.
That's so good.
And that's America.
Well, that's just in the US?
Yeah.
Wow.
So who knows what Italy's like?
Or Mexico.
Or anywhere else.
Because anytime I'm in Mexico, right, when I go visit family at night, we go to the panaderia and you just buy
pan dulces.
all that pan dulce, all that Mexican sweetbread.
So good.
Man.
We should go there later.
Yeah.
Today's Sunday. I
Right.
mean, today is Tuesday. You never heard this. Delete what you heard. Anyways, moving on.
You've blown it.
I'm just too honest, man.
Blown it.
I'm not meant for this showbiz life.
This is supposed to come out on a Tuesday. What are you doing? They think it's live.
Wow. Okay. Do you know? Well, going back to that, it's like bread is just so important worldwide to so many countries, so many cultures.
It's one of the oldest food,
Exactly. And I don't have this written down, but I do remember going through the facts and seeing that it said something about like it's so important that they wrote rules about it in the Magna Carta.
on how to make it.
I don't know what the rules were. I didn't look any further, but I know that
Oh, no.
bread was addressed in the Magna Carta. Like that's
Does
how
somebody
important
know?
it was.
Does somebody know the Magna Carta? If you're familiar with the
Researcher
Magna
Mark,
Carta,
can you pull up the
Yeah,
Magna
yeah.
Carta, please?
Yeah. Where's Mark? He's slipping on his
Go to
job.
the index and look for bread.
Is it in the index? It's in the back under B.
Dead. Oh my God. Okay. Here's another random one for you.
Mm-hmm.
A rolled up piece of white bread was there you go. There's your bread balls. Do you know what you could do with those bread balls? You can erase graphite before rubber. You can erase graphite. Excuse me. This was before rubber erasers were invented.
There you go.
You need to redo that sketch. Just get yourself a bread ball. What
to
else?
redo that sketch.
Okay, pre-sliced bread was banned in the U.S. for a short time in 1943 as a wartime conservation effort. So basically, okay, so here's another fact about that. Rationing laws prohibited the sale of freshly baked bread because the tastiness of just baked bread is likely to encourage people to eat it immoderately. The bread had to be at least 24 hours old before it was sold. So back in 1943, in World War II, bread was a problem. Rations were a problem.
So they were like, if we only sell stale bread, people won't be like, man, I can't wait to have another piece of bread.
Yeah, they won't be irrational with their bread eating.
Do you want another slice of toast? No, this shit is horrible.
Yeah. Don't give them the fresh bread. They can't handle it. They can't handle it and they can't afford it.
So they started making bread pudding and then it was over. It's
Right.
like, we need more bread.
Ooh, I love
the
bread
staler
pudding.
the better.
Do you like bread pudding?
I do like bread pudding.
See, and that bread pudding is a great way to repurpose stale bread.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, the staler the better. It's
Yeah.
true.
I love a good bread pudding.
Remember your bread pudding that you made with bourbon sauce?
Mhm.
Ooh.
Yeah. I think we
was good.
posted that
We
recipe.
did, guys.
so-
There is an amazing recipe for bread pudding with bourbon sauce on our We Have Our Baby Instagram page. So check that out if you want that.
Absolutely.
Here's another one I never knew, which I thought was really interesting. Do you
Okay.
know where the term upper crust comes from?
No.
Okay. The distinction of upper crust comes from the 1600s. When the bread was made in stone ovens, the bottoms would become dirty from ash and soot. If you were wealthy, you cut the bottom crust off and just ate the upper crust part of the bread.
Damn.
There you go. Boom. Facts.
Look at that.
You didn't even know. You
We're
wanted to know
we're
that.
pummeling you with bread balls of facts.
You guys are going to be so smart at all your parties.
What else should we teach them?
I know. Look.
You guys want to know when the Great London Fire was?
Oh, there is the Great London Fire started at the bakery.
Right?
There you go.
In 1666.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah, bread. Let's burn this shit down.
In 1666, the devil wanted bread.
Oh my god.
But yeah.
But also that's where the term when they say like better than sliced bread or whatever.
The best thing since sliced
Best
bread.
thing since sliced bread. Before they said best thing since sliced bread, they said this is the best thing since bagged bread.
It's like they're just
And then they invented the slicer and then they changed it to sliced.
they're like,
Yeah.
man, the bag.
Forget
that
the
shit
bag.
Is, the bag is old news.
Yeah.
We're talking about sliced bread, son.
Well, our time is up. Do you have any other fresh and fun baked stories?
I do not.
Somehow that worked.
Oh my god.
You don't have anything else to say about bread?
I don't. Normally we have extra stuff to say, like we make it past the 20 minutes.
Yeah.
But right now I'm fresh out of bread facts.
Dang. I mean, we said what we had to say about bread, you know. Check out Wild Grain.
Everything that needs to be said has been said.
We left it on the table. We're going to plug Wild Grain for you. We're going to tell you we told you about our family history with bread. We gave you the useless facts. I don't know if there's anything else to say about bread, but that we love bread. There is one last thing, actually, I do have to say that I didn't know.
After all of that.
Encore. With the facts.
That's the encore.
That's what that was.
Yeah, fair enough.
Because it's a good one.
Okay.
And I don't think people know this.
All right, cool.
But feeding bread to ducks is actually really bad for them and causes a lot of health problems for them. So don't give the ducks your bread. Turn it into bread pudding like everybody else.
And eat it yourself.
Okay? That is all I have to say.
Oh my goodness. We made it. We made it 20 minutes on bread. Thanks so much for joining us. Again, I am Omar. This is Nadia Moham. We Everywhere Baby podcast.
Bye-bye.
Bye.